I had always been drawn to the weird corners of the internet, the places where curiosity lingers a little too long. The dark web was my final frontier. One evening, after a few drinks and egged on by a couple of friends on a Discord call, I decided to dive in and see what I could find. We dared each other to search for the most bizarre stuff. That's when I stumbled across a forum called The Abyss. It was mostly just rumors and cryptic posts, but there was one thread that caught my eye. Play the game. Win your freedom. It sounded too edgy, even for the dark web, but something about it pulled me in. There was a single link in the post, no comments or likes, just a countdown at the bottom of the screen. Starts in 15 minutes. Bet you won't, one of my friends said through the Discord call. I hesitated but clicked on the link. The screen went black for a second, then white text appeared. Welcome to the Abyss. Are you ready to play? I hovered over yes. I could feel my heartbeat quicken, but I convinced myself it was all just a prank, a dark web joke to mess with people. I clicked yes. The game started in complete silence. The rules flashed up one by one on my screen. Rule number 1. Find the clues hidden in your home. Rule number 2. You have 30 minutes to escape. Rule number 3. Do not turn around. Rule number 4. Play alone. My friends kept talking in my ear, laughing at me, but I couldn't respond. My mic wouldn't work. My whole computer froze up except for the game. A timer started counting down in the corner of the screen. 30 minutes. Then, a message popped up in the chat window at the bottom of the game. Look under your couch. I stared at the screen for a second, my hands trembling. How would they know what was in my house? It was probably a lucky guess, I thought. I got up, laughing nervously to myself, and checked underneath the couch. My breath caught in my throat. There was a note, handwritten, in my own handwriting. Welcome to the game. I backed away, staring at it like it might bite. My friends' voices kept buzzing in my ear, but they sounded distant now, muffled like I was underwater. I didn't have time to think because another message popped up on the screen. Next clue. The mirror. I didn't want to play anymore, but the timer on the screen kept ticking. 25 minutes now, and something deep inside me was terrified of what would happen if I didn't follow the rules. So I went to the bathroom and looked in the mirror. There, written in red lipstick across the glass, was my name. I didn't own any red lipstick. My face had gone pale, and my reflection didn't quite look right. Something was off, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I stepped back quickly, and then I remembered rule number 3. Do not turn around. I felt a chill crawl up my spine. There was something behind me. I could feel it, like a cold breath on the back of my neck. But I didn't turn. The game warned me. The timer now read 15 minutes. Another message popped up. You're running out of time. Check the basement. I never felt more awake in my life. My hands were shaking uncontrollably as I made my way to the basement door. The air grew colder with every step, and my vision started to blur slightly, as though I was slipping into some kind of nightmare. The basement door creaked open, and I flipped the light switch. Nothing. Of course, the bulb had to be out now. With no choice, I grabbed a flashlight from the kitchen and descended the stairs, the narrow beam of the light dancing across the walls. I reached the bottom and found a small, crumpled note on the floor. As I bent down to pick it up, I noticed something out of the corner of my eye. A dark figure standing in the corner, completely still. I froze. It wasn't a person. It wasn't even human. The note in my hand simply said, "Time's up." The timer hit 0, The flashlight flickered and the Discord call cut out. I stood there, in my own basement, too afraid to move. The figure in the corner began to shift, slowly turning its head toward me. My chest tightened. I couldn't breathe. Then, the game ended. My screen went black, and the house fell completely silent. The figure in the basement was gone, but I knew I wasn't alone anymore. I ran upstairs, slammed the door behind me, and yanked the plug out of my computer. I haven't turned it back on since, but sometimes I can still hear footsteps from the basement, and I never, ever turn around. I've always been into tech, coding, hacking, all of it. But what really piqued my interest was the dark web. Everyone always told me to stay away from it, that it's not really worth my time. But the warnings only made me more curious. It's like telling someone to not push a red button. Eventually, you're going to do it. One night, after hours of watching tutorials and reading forums, I finally took the plunge. I installed the Tor browser, set up a VPN, and began browsing. Most of the dark web was just dead links and cryptic marketplaces selling drugs or stolen credit cards. I clicked around aimlessly, growing disappointed. It was all illegal, but not as sinister as I'd imagined. Then I found a site called The Hidden Files, a forum with a simple tagline: "Truth is darker than you think." The posts there weren't about illegal goods or conspiracy theories. They were strange. The users spoke in riddles, and the threads were filled with images of distorted faces, people in pain, and grainy, unsettling videos. I kept scrolling, morbidly fascinated, until I found a post titled, "Witness Something You Shouldn't." The post had no replies, just a link. Against my better judgment, I clicked it. My screen went black, and for a few seconds, I thought I'd crashed my computer. Then, a video player loaded, but nothing played. Instead, text appeared. "If you're watching this, it's already too late." The player automatically started. The video quality was awful, grainy, and shaky like it was filmed on an old camcorder. At first, it was just static. Then an image slowly came into view. A room, dimly lit. In the center of the frame was a man tied to a chair, his face covered in bruises, a gag in his mouth. I wanted to stop it, but I couldn't look away. A figure appeared in the corner of the frame, their face obscured by a hood. They stood next to the man, slowly circling him, but they didn't speak. They just watched, like they were waiting for something. Suddenly, the hooded figure stepped out of the frame, and the camera zoomed in on the man's face. He was crying, his body shaking with fear. I reached for the power button on my computer, but it didn't work. Nothing did. The screen was frozen, and the video kept playing. The camera zoomed in even further, focusing on the man's eyes, wide and terrified. Then, the screen flickered, and I saw something that made my stomach drop. The man wasn't just scared. He was looking directly at me, like he knew I was watching. The video cut to static again, and then new text appeared. "Don't look away. We see you." I slammed my laptop shut. I took a deep breath, trying to calm myself down, but my phone vibrated, making me jump. I grabbed it, and my blood went cold. There was a message from an unknown number. "You shouldn't have watched." I stared at the screen, feeling sick. Before I could process it, another message appeared. "We're closer than you think." I bolted up, looking around my room. The blinds were closed, the door was shut, but I felt like someone was watching me. My skin prickled with fear. I quickly powered off my phone and shoved it into my drawer. I didn't sleep that night. Every creak in the house, every gust of wind made me think someone was out there, waiting. I couldn't get the man's face out of my head, those terrified eyes staring right at me. The next day, I tried to forget about it. I deleted the Tor browser, wiped my hard drive, even changed my phone number. But the messages didn't stop. They started coming through emails, then new phone numbers. Always the same message. We're closer than you think. Last night, I heard footsteps outside my window. I checked the blinds, but no one was there. Still, the sound of someone breathing lingered in the air, like they were just out of sight, waiting. I don't know who they are or what they want, but I did make a mistake by going on the dark web and clicking on that horrible link. I saw something I wasn't supposed to, and now they won't let me forget it. It started like any other boring Saturday night. I had been aimlessly scrolling through Reddit when I stumbled on a post titled, "Deep Web Games, Only for the Brave." I'd heard about the dark web, of course, but I never ventured there myself. The whole thing seemed like a myth until now. My friends were all out. I didn't have anything better to do. So I followed the instructions in the post and downloaded the Tor browser, entered the provided URL, and found myself on a pitch-black page with a single blinking message in the middle. Play to win. No second chances. Underneath, there was a button labeled Join. There was something about this that intrigued me. The anonymity of the dark web. It felt dangerous. I clicked Join. Instantly, the screen changed. My webcam light blinked on. I tried to disable it, but nothing happened. Then, a chat box opened up at the bottom of the screen, and someone typed, "Welcome to the corridor. Ready to play?" I didn't type anything back, but the game seemed to know I was there. My screen flashed, and a crude 8-bit game interface appeared. It showed a character, just a stick figure, standing in a hallway that stretched into darkness. The objective was simple: get to the end. I moved the stick figure with the arrow keys, walking down the narrow, endless corridor. As I did, strange things started happening in the game. The further I walked, the more unsettling it became. Every so often, the screen would glitch, and for just a split second, the hallway would seem different, longer, twisted. I kept playing, my heart racing a bit now, even though I told myself it was just a game. Then a message popped up in the chat. "Look behind you." I froze. My hands hovered over the keyboard, not daring to move, but I glanced around my room. It was empty, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Slowly, I typed back, "Who is this?" Almost immediately, another message appeared. "Keep playing. Time's running out." I should have stopped right then. I should have closed the game, shut down my computer, and never looked back. But something about the whole thing felt like a challenge, like it was taunting me. So, I pressed on. The stick figure in the game kept walking, but now the corridor was changing. Strange shadows flickered along the walls, and the whispers were louder, more distorted. Then, the game forced the camera to pan, showing a door at the end of the hallway. Finally, a goal. I guided the character toward it, but just as I reached the door, the screen went black. A single line of text appeared. Your turn. I blinked, confused. Suddenly, my phone buzzed. I grabbed it and saw a text from an unknown number. Open the door. I stared at the message. How? How did they get my number? Was this part of the game? Was this real life? My mouth went dry, but I had to check. Slowly, I turned toward my bedroom door. It was closed. A sick feeling settled in my stomach. I didn't want to open it. I stood up, my legs feeling like jello, and I walked toward the door. My hand hovered over the handle for a moment before I hesitated. There was no way this was real, right? Just a game? But then I heard it. A faint sound on the other side of the door. Scratching. Like someone or something was right outside the door. I backed away, stumbling over my desk chair. My mind raced. I wasn't imagining this. I couldn't be. I grabbed my phone and typed back. What do you want? Another text buzzed through immediately. Time's up. Before I could react, my webcam light blinked off. The game vanished from my screen, replaced by my desktop. It was as if nothing had ever happened. No more messages, no game, no nothing. I sat there for a long time, just staring at the door, waiting for the scratching to start again. It didn't. I spent the entire night wide awake, clutching a baseball bat, not daring to open the door. It's been days since it happened, and everything seems normal now. But every night, I hear faint scratching, just on the other side of the door, and I wonder if the game is still going on.